Upon realizing the extent of Orochimaru's depravity, the third Hokage finally resolved to fight to the death. As he began to form seals, a gigantic Grim Reaper materialized behind him. Unfamiliar with this technique, Orochimaru continued to mock the third Hokage, claiming he was nothing more than a small village leader whose death would soon be forgotten. However, to Hiruzen, Konoha was like home, and he was its pillar. Even in death, the will of fire passed down from the first Hokage would endure, perpetuating life wherever Konoha's leaves danced. With resolve, Hiruzen activated Dead Demon Consuming Seal, using 2 shadow clones to seal the souls of the first and second Hokage successfully. It is worth mentioning that in the past, the second Hokage's use of the Bringer of Darkness technique didn't seem impressive. Only now do I realize that this is probably the only genjutsu in the entire Naruto series capable of countering the Sharingan. Subsequently, the third Hokage knocked Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword out of his hand and grabbed his shoulder. The hand of the Shinigami passed through Orochimaru's body and began to pull out his soul. Orochimaru, who had witnessed countless jutsus, was frightened by this technique. He hastily controlled the Kusanagi sword to stab at his teacher. Despite Emma's assistance, the Kusanagi sword still pierced the third Hokage's body. He didn't dodge because once this technique was activated, his death was inevitable, so there was no need to avoid it. This was the same technique used to seal the Nine Tails years ago. Orochimaru was completely terrified. He could clearly feel his soul being gradually torn from his body. Whether the third Hokage truly gave his all or wanted to give Orochimaru one last chance to reform, he ultimately couldn't extract Orochimaru's entire soul. He only managed to seal Orochimaru's arms, taking away the majority of the jutsus he was so proud of. It was a small victory within a great loss. This is undoubtedly the most shocking Edo Tensei in the entire Naruto series. Orochimaru's original intention with the Impure World Reincarnation Jutsu was to gather the deceased Hokage for a grand melee. Luckily, the fourth Hokage, Minato, is not summoned out by Orochimaru. Due to the imperfect nature of the Impure World Reincarnation Jutsu at the time and the inferior quality of the sacrifices, the summoned successive Hokage were only half as powerful as they were in life. Hiruzen, aged and weary, felt nostalgic upon seeing his former masters before him, but it was not a time for reminiscing. Utilizing his diverse chakra nature, he initiated a fire-style attack, only to be suppressed by Tobirama's sudden water-style jutsu. Forced to resort to earth-style for defense, the continuous use of ninjutsu left him drained. Suddenly, Hashirama activated a wood-release jutsu, the secret technique, nativity of a world of trees, capable of altering the terrain. Wood-release differed from other chakra natures in that it generated life from chakra, directly controlling or creating plant growth. It was the only ninjutsu capable of creating life and was fully mastered only by Hashirama. Countless vines and branches rapidly grew among the rubble, ensnaring Hiruzen before he could complete his seal. Fortunately, at the last moment, he summoned Enma, his personal summoning animal. Orochimaru, knowing the power of Enma, immediately controlled the first and second Hokages to stop its transformation. After knocking them away, Enma transformed into the adamantine staff, cutting through the branches binding Hiruzen. Armed with his weapon, Hiruzen charged straight at Orochimaru. Orochimaru responded by pulling the Kusanagi sword from his mouth. At that moment, Hiruzen hesitated and didn't deliver a fatal blow. Quickly overwhelmed by the combined assault of the three, he was soon defeated. Orochimaru grabbed his collar, taunting him relentlessly. Tears streamed from Hiruzen's eyes as he finally resolved to kill the student he once loved the most. Enma grabbed Orochimaru, instantly crushing his neck, but it turned out to be a clone. Hiruzen took the opportunity to detonate the explosive tags attached to the first and second Hokages, but this only served to buy him some time. At this point, Orochimaru triumphantly removed his disguise, revealing the face of a young woman underneath. This sight left the third Hokage in shock, realizing that Orochimaru had already perfected that technique. On the other side, it was a shining moment for Shino Aburame. The showdown between the insect user and puppeteer was indeed a classic. Shino first used insect clones to divert attention while she launched a surprise attack from behind on Kankuro. Not skilled in close combat, Kankuro had to rely on his puppets to release poison smoke bombs and take cover. Shino adds a swarm of insects to block the poison smoke. However, he ended up inhaling some toxic fumes. When Kankuro attempted to control his puppet for another attack, Shino's insects had already infiltrated the puppet's joints and climbed towards Kankuro through the chakra thread. But Kurori was no ordinary puppet. Kankuro severed the chakra threads and reconnected them, causing the puppet's head to spring up, shooting poison needles at Shino Aburame. In this life or death moment, Shino's insects crawled onto Kankuro's hand, biting through the chakra thread, forcing him to halt. It turned out that Shino had left a female insect with a distinct odor on Kankuro during their initial close combat, which served as a bait. With Shino's insects swarming, Kankuro screamed in agony as the toxin spread, and Shino herself fainted due to the poison. Although the final result was a draw, I believe Shino Aburame's performance was more impressive. It was a meticulously planned strategy. Meanwhile, Gaara's half-body had transformed into Shikaka's form, which was terrifying. Sensing danger, Sasuke quickly took cover. Enraged and in a frenzy, Gaara, with Shikaka's arm, relentlessly destroyed everything around. His remaining speck of sanity was solely focused on killing Sasuke. Gaara had previously approached Sasuke during his training, recognizing the same loneliness and hatred in Sasuke's eyes as in his own. Sasuke, preparing to unleash Chidori, aimed to end the battle with one strike. Gaara, however, lunged madly towards Sasuke. With the power of the Sharingan, Sasuke pierced Shikaka's arm, surprising Gaara, who then grew Shikaka's tail unexpectedly. Sasuke had depleted a significant amount of chakra and could no longer use Chidori. Gaara slapped away the Chidori and, against Kakashi's advice, forcibly activated Chidori a third time. Although he pierced Shikaka's arm, Sasuke's body was now too in pain to move. Sasuke had exhausted so much chakra that he couldn't continue suppressing the cursed seal. Gaara, using Shikaka's power, began to heal his wounds, furiously charging towards Sasuke. At this critical moment, Naruto and Sakura finally arrived, rescuing Sasuke. It was arguably the most humiliating defeat Gaara had suffered. With the help of his clones, Naruto came up with an unexpected strategy and stabbing Shikaka's but with a kunai. Naruto had realized that Gaara's weakest point was his tail, so he attached explosive tags to the kunai. The blast was so powerful that Shikaka couldn't absorb the damage, and Gaara was pummeled by thousands of Narutos, driven to fear. This fury caused Gaara to fully transform into Shikaku. Facing the enormous size difference, victory seemed like a distant hope for Naruto. Desperate, he tried the summoning jutsu again and finally succeeded in calling forth Gamabunta. The giant toad wielded his sword, struggling to cut off Shikaka's arm. As the medium for Shikaku, Gaara appeared atop the beast's head. It's said that if the Jinchuriki of Shikaku falls asleep, the beast takes control, causing them to lose themselves. This instability was a significant reason for Gaara's volatility. They needed to wake Gaara from his slumber. The two giant beasts clashed, but soon, Gamabunta was knocked down by Shikaka's air bullet. Realizing that their current tactics weren't working, Gamabunta decided to team up with Naruto and use the transformation jutsu to limit Shikaku's movements. Since Gamabunta wasn't good at transformations, it was up to Naruto's will. A bizarre scene unfolded. A transformed Ninetales leaped from the smoke, pouncing on Shikaku and biting his belly. Naruto then jumped at Gaara, dispelling the fake sleep technique and waking him up. However, Gaara was ungrateful and still aimed to kill Naruto. Naruto had to use all his strength, slamming his forehead against Gaara's, forcing him out of the tailed beast transformation. As the two fell from the sky, the clans within the Leaf Village began their counterattack, wiping out the invading Sand Shinobi. Orochimaru, whose arms were now useless, had to retreat. Born in solitude, Gaara couldn't understand Naruto's willingness to go to such lengths for his friends. Naruto's words, "because they are the ones who saved me from hell," struck Gaara like lightning. Awakening fully, Gaara and Naruto became good friends after their fierce battle. Finally, Gaara's menacing aura as a villain was completely dispelled. This is Uchiha Itachi's first appearance in the series, a character as infamous as Orochimaru. Upon hearing of the third Hokage's death, Itachi, fearing that Danzo might harm Sasuke, returned to his former home in the Leaf Village, accompanied by Kisame and wearing the red cloud cloak of the Akatsuki. At the same time, Sand Village Ninja discovered the fourth Kazekage's corpse, revealing that the attack on the Leaf was orchestrated by Orochimaru. The Leaf Village leaders approached Jiraiya, asking him to become the fifth Hokage, but he refused, preferring his free-spirited lifestyle. Meanwhile, at a dumpling shop, Kakashi noticed Itachi and Kisame, and signaled to Kurenai and Asuma that there were intruders. Itachi, who had lived a life of hardship, found rare sweetness only in eating three-color dango. Understanding the signal, Kurenai and Asuma pursued the intruders after they disappeared. Asuma engaged Kisame, and was wounded on the arm, but he quickly retaliated with his chakra blade, leaving a cut on Kisame's face. Kurenai attempted to trap Itachi and Kisame with a genjutsu, but Itachi, being a master of genjutsu, easily reversed it with a single glance. Just as Itachi's kunai was about to strike Kurenai, she bit her tongue to break the genjutsu, and narrowly escaped. Kakashi arrived in time, using his Sharingan to copy Kisame's water-style jutsu, much to Kisame's surprise, as he realized he was facing the renowned copy ninja, Kakashi. Kisame warned Itachi not to underestimate Kakashi, knowing reinforcements would soon arrive. The battle turned into Kakashi versus Itachi, with Itachi using Shuriken as a decoy for a water-style attack. Kakashi shielded Kurenai from Itachi's explosive clone, managing to keep up until Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, and used Tsukuyami, the strongest genjutsu in the early series. Kakashi warned Asuma and Kurenai not to look into Itachi's eyes, thinking his Sharingan would protect him. However, lacking the bloodline's full potential, he was pulled into Tsukuyami's world, where Itachi controlled all aspects of reality. Kakashi was bound to a cross and repeatedly stabbed for 72 hours, which, in reality, lasted only a second. This demonstrated Tsukuyami's terror. Kakashi, writhing in pain, remembered Jiraiya's recent warning, and deduced that Itachi and Kisame's target was Naruto, the Ninetales Jinchuriki. Itachi ordered Kisame to kill Asuma and Kurenai and capture Kakashi. Fortunately, Might Guy arrived, having mastered fighting without looking into the opponent's eyes through years of sparring with Kakashi. Not wanting to risk a fight with Guy using the 8 gates, Itachi and Kisame retreated. At this time, Sasuke also learned that Itachi had returned to the Leaf Village. Worried that his brother might harm Naruto, he frantically searched for Naruto. Memories of the past flooded Sasuke's mind. He could never forget that night when his parents and clan were slaughtered by Itachi. Finally, the four of them met in a corridor. Seeing his brother, Sasuke's rage flared. Both activated their Sharingan, and Sasuke charged at Itachi with Chidori. Itachi blocked Sasuke's attack with a single hand. Naruto tried to release the Nine-Tails chakra, but Kisame quickly absorbed it with Samahata. In this critical moment, Jiraiya arrived. Itachi, knowing Jiraiya's strength, but didn't plan to leave easily. Disappointed to see Sasuke's Sharingan was only at the Two-Tomo stage, Itachi beat Sasuke and trapped him in a Tsukuyomi, forcing him to relive the night of the Uchiha massacre repeatedly. Itachi believed deepening Sasuke's hatred would make him stronger, hoping to push him to unlock the Three-Tomo Sharingan. However, Sasuke fainted from the ordeal. Jiraiya used the Toad Mouth Bind from Mount Myaboku to trap Itachi and Kisame, aiming to eliminate them both. As the walls of the Toad's stomach closed in, Jiraiya asserted that no one had ever escaped this technique. Realizing the danger, Itachi quickly planned their escape. With the exit closing fast, Itachi used his Mangekyo Sharingan to unleash the strongest fire-style jutsu, Amaterasu. Jiraiya had to use a sealing technique to contain the still-burning Amaterasu flame. Then, Jiraiya took Naruto to search for Tsunade. This not only protected Naruto but also helped him in his training. Jiraiya taught Naruto the Rasengan during their travel, and the master and disciple forged a bond during this time. Meanwhile, Tsunade was gambling at the most luxurious casino in a small town. Known as the Big Fat Sheep in the underworld, she came to the arcade on the street after losing all her money at the casino. Despite her consistent losing streak, she kept winning at the arcade. As expected, Orochimaru and Kabuto showed up. After the battle with the third Hokage, Orochimaru, who had no remedy for his injured hand, had no choice but to seek Tsunade's superb medical skill. Tsunade noticed that Orochimaru's symptoms were not ordinary, and he openly admitted that they were from injuries sustained while killing the third Hokage. He taunted Tsunade, asking if she, like herself, also caused the deaths of two loved ones. Tsunade promptly smashed the wall behind her with a punch, urging him to leave immediately. However, Orochimaru calmly stated that he only wanted to make a deal with Tsunade. He offered to resurrect Tsunade's loved ones in exchange for her assistance. Upon hearing this, Tsunade hesitated and asked Orochimaru about his plans after healing his hand. Orochimaru candidly stated that he would destroy Konoha. He gave Tsunade a week to consider, then left. This encounter marked the first meeting between Tsunade and Naruto. Tsunade was greatly surprised that a genin could use the Rasengan. She struck the ground, creating a large crater and sending Naruto flying. She mocked Jiraiya for teaching a technique that a little brat couldn't possibly learn, but Naruto insisted that he could master the technique in 3 days. Enjoying gambling, Tsunade laughed and gave Naruto a week. If he succeeded, she would give him a necklace worth 3 mines. If Naruto lost, he would not only have to give up his unrealistic dream of becoming Hokage, but also give Tsunade all the money he had. This necklace was originally a relic of the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. Although it was only a crystal that reacted to the first Hokage's chakra, Tsunade cherished it greatly because it was her grandfather's relic. She often wore it around her neck. Tsunade's bet had another layer of meaning. Seeing Naruto reminded her of her younger brother. This necklace had been given to 3 people by Tsunade. However, both recipients, her brother Nawaki and her lover Dan, died soon after receiving. After being defeated by Naruto, this cursed necklace was finally broken. While Naruto was still diligently training for the bet, Tsunade had already caused trouble for Jiraiya. She went alone to the agreed meeting place and met Orochimaru. Tsunade demanded that Orochimaru promise to heal his hands and refrain from harming Konoha. As Tsunade gathered her chakra and aimed at Orochimaru's trembling hand, Kunai suddenly pierced through, interrupting the process. It turned out that both being medical ninjas, Kabuto sensed killing intent in Tsunade's chakra. Seeing negotiations break down, Orochimaru decided to resort to force. So, they took the battle outside. Tsunade faced off against Kabuto, who temporarily boosted his strength with the soldier pill. He attached chakra to his hands and used it to seal Tsunade's pressure point. He also struck Tsunade's intercostal muscles to disrupt her breathing. However, Tsunade fought back by targeting Kabuto's nervous system, causing his nerves to misalign and impeding his movement. At this moment, Jiraiya and Naruto arrived. The 3 of them met again, each cutting themselves and shedding blood. However, Tsunade trembled uncontrollably at the sight of blood and was unable to move. She was punched by Kabuto and knocked away. Due to the effects of anesthesia, Jiraiya couldn't summon a decent summoning animal. On the other hand, despite his disabled hand, Orochimaru, with Kabuto's help, summoned a giant snake. At this point, Orochimaru completely dominated Jiraiya in terms of strength. Unexpectedly, this turned out to be the most formidable episode for Kabuto throughout the series. He toyed with Tsunade and nearly killed Naruto. Naruto created a Rasengan with his clone's help and managed to hit Kabuto, who, in return, used a chakra scalpel to sever Naruto's myocardium. This was the closest Naruto came to death in the entire series. Even Tsunade couldn't heal this wound, but fortunately, the Nine Tails forced Naruto to survive miraculously. Suddenly, Orochimaru made a move and impaled Tsunade's body with the Kusanagi sword. Tsunade, who bravely stood in front of Naruto, not only overcame her hemophobia but also blocked Orochimaru's attack. Then, She released the Ein seal on her forehead and used ninjutsu creation rebirth. Tsunade's body began to visibly heal at an incredible speed. After her recovery, the three of them simultaneously performed summoning jutsu. The toad from Mount Mayaboko, the slug from Shikatsu Forest, and the snakes from Ryuchi Cave all gathered. The standoff between the three began officially. The battle prowess of the snakes should have been the strongest among the three summoned beasts. However, Orochimaru chose to retreat at this critical moment, even though Kabuto could hold his own against both Tsunade and Jiraiya. Although the snakes could fight 2-on-1, they were eventually sealed by Tsunade using a short knife. Then, Tsunade unleashed her full strength against Orochimaru's head, single-handedly pounding. Orochimaru's body quickly reached its limit, and at the same time, Jiraiya's strength also recovered. Seeing no benefit in continuing the fight, Orochimaru retreated with Kabuto. The true strength of the Sound Four remains a mystery, as they coincidentally encountered Genma Shiranui and Reidu Namishi, two jonin from Konoha. Considering their nearly fatal battle record against them, their strength should be infinitely close to jonin level. This reveals just how terrifying the genin of Konoha can be. Niji located the enemy's position through Byakugan, and a fierce battle was about to begin. Shikamaru and his team stealthily approached but were detected by Kidamaru's spider jutsu. Then, Shikamaru used his signature technique, Shadow Binding Jutsu, to control the enemy. However, the enemy counterattacked from the other side using strange ninjutsu, striking Shikamaru. The shadow imitation jutsu was forced to release, and Naruto's team was trapped within a soil wall barrier. This barrier not only was extremely sturdy but also continuously absorbed their chakra. Despite using massive amounts of chakra to destroy the barrier through cooperation with Akamaru's Fang over Fang technique, it had no effect. After negotiations failed, Shikamaru contemplated and eventually devised a strategy. Through Niji's Byakugan observation, they found the weakest point of the chakra in the wall. With Choji's meat tank charging, they quickly broke through a massive hole in the wall, and they escaped smoothly. After taking the first green pill of the clan's secret medicine, Choji's strength surged. He even intercepted the enemy's charge head-on. Then, Choji hung his kunai on his body, enlarged using the multi-size technique, and performed the human bullet tank.
Jirobo had no choice but to activate his curse-marked state to fight back, using his crumbling palm to send Choji flying. The battle quickly turned against Choji, who, determined not to disappoint Shikamaru, Choji took the second yellow pill, using the super multi-size jutsu to flatten everything around him. Just when he thought he had finally won, Jirobo was forced to activate his curse mark level 2 form. Even with the yellow pill's power, Choji was no match for him. What infuriated Choji the most was Jirobo's constant insults towards his best friend, Shikamaru. As a child, Choji had been clumsy, but Shikamaru never minded. Fueled by his resolve and friendship, Choji took the final red pill. Blue butterflies fluttered around him, and huge wings grew from his back. With just a wave of his hand, Choji easily blocked Jirobo's full power attack.